Guys, just take a look at this. This is the anti-grind system I invented myself, and it goes against everything that people teach on YouTube. It doesn't require a lot of time, and it's much more enjoyable than most of the businesses out there. People say you need to sell PDFs for $10 or $20, or that you need to have 120 calls per month to get some clients, but this is not true. These are probably more demanding, time-consuming businesses than this what I'm about to show you here. And if you watch one of my previous videos, remember all these transactions here, but here is one more transaction that I just signed a few days ago on the 28th of May. And let me quickly refresh the whole window so you know that it's real, that there are real transactions. So as you can see, we still have all these transactions here, and to make it even better, these are not one-off transactions, these are monthly subscriptions, and you can see it here. Obviously I will need to blur it out, but you can see here that we have one transaction that is active and automatic, and it's $1,000 per month. It was testing time and it's still working, is around $12,000 per year. And here we have the second transaction, again automatic, $2,500 per month, and it should be $30,000 per year. So this is what we are doing here. We are looking to sign clients that will stay with us for a long time, and that we can deliver the same service over and over again, and it should be less time consuming than what most people are doing with the businesses. So let me show you how it really works. So this is the latest transaction. Obviously I'll update you on every transaction that is happening, and I also do it on School. So as you can see, here is the post that I just posted. For $6,400 with AI-powered business and only 2 sales calls. So if you'd like to learn more, there is a link in the description where you can find this community. But let me show you why is it so different from what everyone is doing on YouTube. As we already discussed, this is monthly recurring revenue. So we have monthly recurring revenue here, and this transaction come from one sales call. The person said yes, and after the call paid immediately. So as you can see, we have 28th of May, nearly 6 p.m. So this is when this transaction happened. But here is what happened before this transaction. So I had just one call, and to prove you that it was just one call, I just took the email address of this person and I used it as a filter here. So you can see I've never had more calls with this person. We started this conversation at 5 p.m. and here you can see that before 6 p.m. he already paid, and it's subscription. So it will happen every month. And considering this group of people, he will stay with me for at least 12 months. So this is much different what people are doing. Most people will say that you should do something like that you need to get 120 appointments per month so you can get clients. And I was doing something the same in the past. I was selling 10 appointments per month, and if I don't book them for you, you basically don't pay. So this was my offer, and I believe that this is a great offer and is working very well, but in reality it didn't really work well. Let me prove it to you why. So what most people do, they will just say you need to target people that, for example, run marketing agencies, or they are coaches, consultants, all this kind of stuff. But in my opinion, this is not the best thing to do. Everyone is talking about it, and therefore it's quite easy to sell to those people, but they are churning quite often. So if you sign an agency, the agency will stay with you for, let's say, 3-6 months, and there are hidden problems that people don't know about. So if you are targeting coaches, agencies, all these kind of targets, when their clients are churning, usually these agencies or coaches will stop working with you. This is my experience. So you can expect to work with one client for 3 to 6 months. So you need all these calls, right? And this is very comfortable for all these agencies because they are getting paid for every appointment they book. So in my agency, I was getting paid $200 for every call I was booking on my client's calendar. So for me, it was a good business model. Obviously, my clients were having between 10% to 30% close rate on their calls, but nevertheless, I was getting my money for my job. So it was a good model for me. But I don't think it's the best business model out there. And as I mentioned, because the margins are thin, because we are working with big agencies, if something goes wrong on their end, they will usually fire you as well. So that's why I say you shouldn't really focus on targeting those big agencies, those big companies. You should find something different. And what you should find, it really depends on your own business. So for me, I have a few skills and I don't want to burn my own business and to tell you who I'm targeting, but I will show you what I've done, and you can also do it with my AI workflow that I have in the description. It's obviously for free, so you can get it without any problems. But you need to check what are your skills, right? So you need to know what are you good at. And those skills can be literally everything. Most people say you need to have some online skills. So it might be, marketing skills, website designing skills, all this kind of stuff. But it's not always the case. It might be something different. Let's say you have a degree in something, right? You can use this degree and make money from it. So, for example, you can target businesses that need help with whatever you can do, and you get paid monthly. And it's much better than just being an employee, because you can have more clients, you're working less, and your margins are basically better. So this is what you can do. It doesn't have to be online skills, but it can be. So you really need to know, you need to sit down, take a piece of paper, and note down all your skills, or you can use the workflow in the description, and this workflow can also help you with finding your skills and defining what niches are worth going after. It's based on Claude. You can use it with ChatGPT or DeepSeek, it doesn't really matter, but I use it with Claude. So you can use it with Claude as well. So this is the first step. You need to decide what are your skills. If you have none, you need to acquire them as fast as possible, because AI is not replacing anything. AI is here to speed up the process, but AI will not replace you, will not replace me, because we have something that AI will never possess, which is basically quality data. If you're an expert in anything, you are, let's say, in the top 1% of people. And AI is based on a lot of data, right? So it cannot be based on 1% of all the data available, because then it will be impossible to train it properly. So what people do to train AI, they'll just get as much data as they can. And because of that, well, you only get average results. And it's the same with literally everything. So here is what it looks like in real life. Let's say here is the bottom 10% of all the professionals. So let's say they are worse than the average in their niche, so they are not very good. Then we have 80% of all people that are here. So this is the average knowledge, the average professional. They can do the job, but they are not the best. And then you have the top 10% of people here. So you should aim to be somewhere in this area. If you're not, it means that you still need to learn more, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't work in the meantime. If you are, let's say, somewhere here, it's all right, you can start there, but you need to expect that you will be, let's say, hiring AI will not do things for you. So you need to show the direction, and you need to give it the framework. That's why I say my business is AI powered, because without me, it doesn't work. You can take Claude, you can take ChatGPT, but if you give it to a person that has no idea what they are doing, they will not produce good results. However, if you give, let's say, Claude or GPT or DeepSeek, it doesn't really matter. You can give all these models to someone who is experienced, let's say to someone like Hormozy. These guys will take this tool and turn this into gold, right? So they will take it and turn it into money. What is the difference then? The difference is their own experience. So this is something that comes from them, from within. It doesn't come from the outside. AI is just speeding up the whole process, and this is the whole game. If you have an experience in anything, you want to deliver results as soon as possible, because this is how the biggest companies operate, and that's why they dominate. And as an example, you can take Amazon or even McDonald's. These two companies are so big because they are delivering results fast. Amazon can deliver the same day sometimes. McDonald's will deliver the same quality food, which is low quality, but the same of the same standard every single time. Wherever you go, you can expect the same food. And this is what AI helps you to do. AI helps you speed up the whole process, so you spend less time on doing the same thing. And the whole service is based, as I mentioned, my skills. So for me, there are a few things. It's content generation. So I help people with producing content on YouTube. This is obviously one thing. I help them with getting leads. I help them with automating everything. We can say that I help them making more money, and also to build a business that is compounding over time. Because when you're creating YouTube channel and you're posting content on YouTube, the longer you go, the better results you will be getting. So this is the most important thing, in my opinion, in building businesses, but it doesn't mean that you should sell the same thing, because this is the biggest trap everyone is doing on YouTube. Everyone is trying to sell the same thing. Everyone is selling lead generation to agencies. Everyone is selling content to coaches, or paid ads to dentists or local businesses. Everyone is doing the same thing, and that's the problem. So here's the next part, which is you should find an audience that is not what most people say. So if you see that people on YouTube say, oh, you should target this audience, and everyone is saying, let's say 90% of people say that you should target this audience, you need to think that probably this audience will be already too saturated, or they will be too sophisticated. Sophisticated means that they understand the pricing, and usually they think that they can do this by themselves, which is not true, or even if it is, this creates a very weird relationship between you and your client. What you want to do, you want to have a niche that is making money, is making quite significant money, and then offer them solution that either is difficult for them to do by themselves or that they don't have time to do it. Then they will value your services, and then you'll be able to acquire customers that will stay and pay you, for example, for 12 or even 24 months, right? If you have a client like, for example, I have right now. So this client is paying $2,500 per month, right? So this is just one client. If I have 4 of them, it means that I'm making 10K and I don't need to do any lead generation every month. I can just focus on delivering results for them, and I don't need to have all these sales calls, because the biggest problem for me was always sales calls and the process. I don't want to hire any agency. I don't want to have any I don't want to hire any closers to do the closing for me. I just think this is a wasted money. I prefer to have something that is lean and have clients that never churn, because I deliver good results and because no one is targeting them, I'm winning. And you can only do it if you do it based on your experience. So that's why you should find what is your experience and also use the workflow in the description to help you find a niche you can serve. So that's the goal. You can have, let's say, 2 sales calls and close 2 people into paid clients, and then keep working with them for the next 12 or 24 months. And obviously it takes a lot of back and forth sometimes, because it's not that straightforward. Sometimes when you deliver those services, it will turn out that they need something different, so then you should just pivot your offer to serve them better. And at a certain point you will find what is the best offer, or what is the best combination of deliverables that deliver the best results for them. So you need to be open, and you always need to be very open to listening to their feedback. You shouldn't be closed in your offer. For example, let's say you deliver cold email. It's not the best offer, but let's say you do it. You deliver cold email to someone, and you say, and your clients say, okay, it works well, but I think it would work better if instead of cold email we would hand out flyers on the street, right? It's just a fake scenario, is not true, but let's say they said something like that. So now you have 2 scenarios. In one scenario you can say, okay, we can try, or in a second you can say, no, let's stop doing this, I don't like this idea, it cannot work. If you go this path, you'll probably lose this client. But if you go this path and you don't, let's say, change your service right away, but you start checking if it can work. So for example, you do some research, maybe you even spend $50 or $100 to test the offer and see if it really makes sense or not. And if it makes sense, then you have data and you can show to your client, okay, it makes sense, so we'll change your main offer to this. And because of that, this client will stay with you, because they see that you listen to them, you change your offer for them, and you are here for them, basically. On the other hand, if it doesn't work, but you tested it, let's say you spend $100, so still, you are profitable because they paid you $2,500 per month. So let's say minus $100, you still are making money, right? You still are profitable here. So in my opinion, it makes much more sense to be more flexible with your clients. And once you see what is working well, then you can replicate and work with one certain niche and one certain even sub niche. Then you'll be able to charge this kind of pricing that I'm charging here, and it'll be very easy as well. So this is the only reason why I was able to close this client on the first call. I had something very specific for this kind of person or this business, and I showed that we can do it. And I showed that I'm also flexible, and I showed some value up front. So this is one key metric that people don't think about, and they never do it. So what is my strategy right now? My strategy is that I approach my prospects. It might be whatever way. It doesn't really matter, because all sorts of traffic are good. So it might be LinkedIn, it might be email, it might be paid ads, it might be in person. It doesn't really matter. All forms of getting to know people are good. So I approach them. And then I say simply, because they don't know me, they don't trust me, and this is a group of people that is very difficult to sell to. But because of that, when you get through this barrier, they will keep paying you for a very long time. And this is a very good niche, in my opinion. So you should find something like that. So it's very difficult to convince them. But once you convince them, they will pay you a lot, and they will stay with you for a very long time. This is how you build a real business. The real business is not built by churning clients every month or two. So this is, in my opinion, much better approach. And then I say to them something like that: I will help you to do this one thing, whatever the outcome they want, for free. And based on that, if you see the value, you can hire me. And if you don't see the value, you can just keep the result, and that's it. So there is no risk for them. and obviously you need to invest some time. But let me show you that it makes much more sense than having all these calls. So this is how much time it takes me to deliver the free service. It takes around 60 minutes, right? 60 minutes of my work to deliver free work to these people. So what I'm getting in return? Obviously, I did them a favor. So they will be much more open to listening about my offer and also to pay. So this is one thing. Another thing, they see how it is to work with me. And also, they now understand the value, right? So you're getting free things in just 60 minutes. However, if you have a sales call, usually, some people will have sales calls for 30 minutes, and based on that, they want people to pay them money. But the problem is that during this 30 minutes, your clients cannot really see what it will look like if they hire you. They cannot see the outcome, they cannot see the result, they cannot see the product that is tailored for them. And this is a big difference. So they just need to believe in your services or in you. And here, you can just show them. That also removes another problem, which is miscommunication. You can say, imagine blue elephant, and everyone will imagine something different. Although we all say blue elephant, some people will think about purple elephant, some people will think light blue elephant, or small, big, looking like a cartoon or real elephant. So there are a lot of different things people can imagine. So this is just one example. Now, if you have the full offer, everyone can understand it a little bit differently. So when they see the end result, they understand the quality. And when they eventually hire you, you will not get any chargebacks, or they will not want their money back, because they already saw the result. So they know what it is. They already know what is in the box. So this is a good thing. So there's only one problem with this approach. If you're approaching businesses that are easy to sell to, for example, agencies, marketing agencies, these kind of businesses, they will usually take the freebie, but they will not convert. So they will take whatever you give them for free, and still will be not that easy to close them. That's why I say you shouldn't go with whatever people say on YouTube, but you should find your own angle, your own niche that is, again, based on your experience. So what I want to show you here is that you don't need to have these 120 appointments per month and waste so much time. And also that selling all these PDFs, like people say online, you should sell AI generated PDFs. This is not a good idea either. This takes a lot of effort. People make it look like it's effortless because it's AI generated and you cannot do it ever again. You just make it once. But there is a lot of marketing that you need to take care about. So now you need to look for partnerships. Now you need to reach out to other YouTubers to sell your product on their YouTube channels, or you need to be good at paid ads. So there are a lot of things to it. And if you have a product that, let's say, you're charging for $20, your margin is thin. It's very easy to run ads on Facebook and spend much more to acquire one client. And this is what most people will do. Most people, when they have digital products, they will spend even more than the initial price of their product. Why they do it? Because they sell something different on the back end. So they are fine with losing money here, let's say $10, $20, $30, $50 sometimes, because on the back end, they are selling something for example, $3,000, right? So why wouldn't we just skip this part and we went immediately to selling this thing with a free favor, with someone who is serious in business and someone who appreciates your effort? Obviously, as I mentioned, the niche picking is very important. And I cannot really help everyone here. So if you need more help, there are two links in the description. Obviously, the first is the guide that will help you with that. And other is my school community, where you can ask me all the questions about your niche, and I will help you there, because this is very important and also very difficult decision. And as I said, if you pick wrong, you will deliver free things to people that will never pay you for anything. And this is probably the biggest problem with this strategy, that you need to pick the right niche. And you need to know that these people are serious. If not, you will lose your money. So the only thing I can tell you is that if you reach out to businesses, and these businesses make let's say $3 million per year, the chances that they will ghost you after you deliver free value are very thin. However, if you reach out to creators, coaches, or influencers, even if sometimes they have 50,000 subscribers, they still can ghost you after receiving the value. Sometimes these people make even money, right? There is one guy that is making over $10,000 per month for his coaching business. I sent him free value. He received the value. Everything was all right, and he never came back. So this is a big problem. You don't want to deliver to this kind of people. You want to deliver to more boring businesses and deliver what they need. So it's not always the same mechanism. For me, it might be content creation. So for me, it might be, for example, YouTube, it might be lead generation and automation, but it's not always the case. Maybe for you to be something different. Maybe your business is not really online business, but business that is working more offline. So in this case, you will also need to adjust your offer for them. That's why it's so difficult and deep topic. And I cannot really help you with answering all these questions on YouTube, but hopefully you get some clarity from this video. And I just showed you that you can make more money while spending less time on your business. I'll update you how it goes. So far it goes well. We have 2 clients on monthly subscription, and if I have another one, I'll update you here, and also I'll share more on my school community. So make sure to join or get your AI workflow that is completely free. And if you would like to see how I made the initial money on this business, make sure to watch this video. You can see on the screen right now. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.